just living our lives thinking like we were decent people, but like I said, we didn't give God any thought at all. And I just thought, only like the worst people possible could go to hell. My name is Maritza. I was born here on Long Island. I'm an only child. I grew up with both of my parents, got divorced when I was young, when I was around 9 years old. We went to church sporadically, for Easter, Christmas. They put me in like Catholic elementary school growing up, but I never really gave any thought to God or to the Lord. And I just lived my life thinking that I was a good person. I met my husband when I was 16, and we ended up having a baby by the time I was 17, unmarried. And um, we got married when I was 19. Just living our lives thinking like we were decent people, but like I said, we didn't give God any thought at all. And I just thought, only like the worst people possible could go to hell. So my in 2006, my mother-in-law invited us to church, and we had been going to different churches on and off throughout our marriage. And I was kind of over going to church. I really wasn't interested in going. And I was like, here we go again, another church. But she invited us. She really wanted us to come. Going to Catholic church through elementary school and, for holidays and things like that, I just didn't really understand confessing to a man, to a priest, or just a lot of the different ordinances or the different teachings. It just seemed like a lot of repetitiveness. It just didn't seem like an actual relationship with God. It was all man centered. And then I started going to a non denominational charismatic church when I met my husband. And that was completely different from what I was used to with Catholicism. And I liked it. It seemed more lively, but it's still also just, just go with the motions, like every day, every Sunday go to church, but that's all. You don't have a relationship with God. You just go to church, come home. And it was very different. I liked that it was different. It was lively and all of that. But I just, like, my mother-in-law didn't have a good relationship with the pastor there. She didn't have a good experience there in the church. It was almost like they were treating her like she was some kind of a servant. And she ended up leaving, and we kind of followed after whatever she would do. So when she stopped going to church, it was like, okay, well, that's good. Now we don't have to go to church anymore because she's not going to church. So a few years had gone by where we weren't going to church at all. And then she found Long Island Baptist, and she wanted us to start coming to church again with her. And that by then I was just like, I just don't see the point in going to church. And she had made a profession. She was getting baptized, and she wanted us to come and see her get baptized. And I, to my shame, thought it was kind of like a joke. Like, here we go again. We're going to another church, and we'll see what it's like, whatever. But when I started coming here and hearing the preaching, I saw that there was something different about this church. I remember Pastor Graff was going over the 10 Commandments, and he was going over every single one individually. And he was saying how we had broken every single commandment in thought or in deed. And that really spoke to me, and that really convicted me. And it got me really thinking for the first time about my relationship with the Lord. And it was just a different experience from what I had ever had before in church. And I went home and I would try and be a good person, what I thought was a good person, like not going late to work because, that's being like a thief, robbing from my employer, or, not taking supplies or things like that. Going to church, trying to go to church regularly on Sunday to Long Island Baptist, and thinking I was so much better for it because I was going to church more frequently. But it was all works. I just thought I was a better person because of the things that I was doing. But Pastor Graff, he's just very personable, and he really cares about each and every one of us. And he really I could tell that he really cared about me. Unlike the other churches where you would just go to church and go home, the preacher or the priest didn't really ask you any questions. So when he wanted to come to our home and to speak to us and to go through the Bible and have a Bible study, I saw that there was something different about him. And he went over the Bible with us. He showed us how we were sinners and how we needed to be repentant. And going through, like, once again, the 10 Commandments and seeing that, I wasn't as good as I thought that I was, and that I needed to be saved, and I needed to be repentant and have sorrow for the sins that I've committed. On June 6, 2006, I repented of my sins and I was saved. And my life's been changed ever since. And now I just try to serve the Lord the best that I can, and I have a relationship with Him, and it's different than what I've experienced in the past. So my life is completely changed, and I thank the Lord for it.